I want to share this information with you of Egypt is in uproar because of Kevin Hart and his blackwashing the history of Egypt. Listen to this. Calls to cancel Kevin Hart's comedy show in Egypt over Afrocentric views. And it reads as such there, family members. Calls are growing in Egypt to cancel the upcoming stand-up show in Cairo by U.S. comedy star Kevin Hart over his past comments in support of Afrocentism on ancient Egypt, which has angered many in the country. On Tuesday, Hart announced on Twitter that he will be performing for the first time in Egypt at the Cairo Indoor Stadium in February 2023. However, his post promoting his reality check tour prompted many Egyptian users to call for the show to be boycotted or canceled due to Hart's Afrocentric views of ancient Egyptian civilization. Some users have started using hashtags calling for the show to be canceled and saying that Hart is not welcomed in the country as Egyptian history is a red line. Hart is once said to be stated, "We must teach our children the true history of Black Africans when they were kings in Egypt, and not just the era of slavery that is cemented by education in America. Do you remember the time when we were kings?" One user said Afrocentric wants to steal and attribute Egyptian civilization to Africans and tell modern Egyptians that we are occupying Egypt from them. We must all participate in the campaign to cancel Kevin Hart's concert. Among those calling for the show to be canceled was Egyptian actor Yosef Othman. He highlighted that Hart had invested in an Afrocentric animation series by the company Black Sands Entertainment, which others have accused of blackwashing ancient Egyptian history. Now, hot daggone, here we go. This is the first time I heard about blackwashing. We hear about whitewashing, but now we're into this blackwashing. You're going to hear more of this, family. This is a shame. Last year, prominent Egyptologist and former Minister of Antiquities, Yahuah, dismissed the notion that ancient Egyptians were Black Africans, but did acknowledge that there was evidence of Cushites who ruled Egypt during the 25th dynasty. If I've been all down it through Egypt, and all the statues, the paintings, all are Black folk, brown folk, whatever folk you see wasn't white folk. From the tan to the dark, whether they want to say Nubia, Kush, the land of Kush, whether they want to say it was whomever, it's in Africa. This is why some Egyptians that are there, they don't even know their history. It says here, if we look at ancient Egypt, there are two theories, with one theory being that their origin was either from Semites, descendants of Shem, son of Noah, or Hamites, descendants of Ham, son of Noah, with input from Palestine and from Africa based on the faces of the people from the Delta and Upper Egypt, he said. Now, keep in mind, Upper Egypt is southward, okay? Going into the land of Cush, the land of Nubia. Afrocentrism gains traction in the U.S. following the growth of Black consciousness and the civil rights movement of the 1960s and 70s and centuries on the history of people of African descent, and has been described as a response to the Eurocentric attitude about African history. One of the most disputed and divisive subjects has been the race of the ancient Egyptians, and the accusations that modern Egyptians have no claim to the country's ancient heritage due to being descendants of Arab invaders, while Afrocentrists have been accused of attempting to steal or appropriate Egyptian history. It is evident that there are Arabs that are there, and that the good thing is that paintings and statues showing the Black faces, the DNA test that was done on the mummies, prove that it was all African. See, people don't want to admit, based upon scientific, historical, and archaeologist data, first man on earth was Black. An African in the continent. Wasn't the name of the continent, but as a point of reference, Africa. all race of people come from the black man. 2 Caucasians cannot produce a black man, but 2 blacks, a man and woman, can produce a white baby. Where you will see the spectrum of color across the globe that comes from black people. Now, I know that many of the people there in Egypt, a lot of them haven't even gone in their own country to visit the history. But the problem of it is, when I was there, I talked to some of the locals, and some of the people who are the guides have been taught through their schools. So they've been indoctrinated. Now, I happened to go on a tour that went from Cairo all the way down to Abyss Symbol, almost to Sudan, and we were able to go all through there to see the rich history of the Egyptians and Nubia and the land of Cush, from the pyramids to the temples to the tombs, to all of it. And you see people of color and the black faces all over the place. But some Egyptians don't call themselves Africans. This is just a hate. This is just one of those things that this just happens. But let me show you a video of me interviewing a Egyptian, and let's see what he says.
But the CT scan has one more surprise for Alejandro: Shammai's ethnicity.
Well, they have just told me that Shammai had a Nubian features, which means that their ruling family was probably Nubian, and that was unexpected.
Examining Shammai's anatomy closely, the thickness of his bones and the shape of his nasal cavity, the anthropologists think he was a black African, likely from neighboring Nubia. A huge revelation that challenges the prevailing image of the Egyptian ruling class.
We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type, and in this sense, Shammai is representing the society of the frontier, in which different ethnic groups were mixed. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shammai was Egyptian.
From Egypt. When you go to Aswan and to Luxor, that's the border of Egypt and Sudan. All the Egyptians, just dark skinned. We have.
Are those the original Egyptians? They're
Yes.
the original Egyptians.
Yes, sir.
Were the pharaohs dark skinned?
The pharaohs was dark skinned as well.
They were dark. What about the
We
queen?
have the king, and you mean, or the queen.
The pharaoh.
We have 7,000 years history.
7,000, and they used
Right?
to change.
So from every couple of hundreds of years, it was changing one king.
Right.
But we have a lot of dark skin,
Yeah.
and you will see it by your eyes. Some of the pictures say Jesus, he is dark skin.
Yeah. Some
You
of the
can
pictures.
see it in the first church built in whole life. It's called Hunting Church.
Where's it located?
It's in Old Cairo.
It's an old kind. So you saying there's a church that exists that shows Jesus as dark
There
skin?
is a picture of Jesus. It's
Yeah.
dark skin
He's dark skinned.
there
He was-
because we are the Egyptians. Save Jesus. We was Jewish before.
You was
All the Egyptians in the time of Moses here.
Yeah. So let me.
We was 99% or 98% black.
Black.
Egypt was occupied by France before, occupied by Turkish.
Yep.
After that, I mean, the lost people occupied us. It's the English.
Yep.
And that's why the skin start to change.
Okay.
That's the last couple of hundreds of years.
Yep.
But before, a lot of pictures, a lot of history, a lot of details say our real color, it's black.
The real color's black.
Yep.
And it's on the walls in the pyramids.
Yep.
And it's showing how the Egyptians were.
Yep.